This is a more symbolic election. In what ways is it more significant today?
Well, it is tempting to dismiss it as symbolic, given that the ruling party has been in power for 55 years. It's had a good grip on power in Singapore, but it is significant. In the lead up to the election, the rhetoric has been it sets the stage for a leadership transition. The so-called 4G leadership led by Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Hsien, they're looking for a strong mandate, their own words, a strong mandate. What that means, well, it's unclear. But if you take a look at the track record of the PAP, they've had as low as 60% mandate. That happened 2 elections ago. If this time round the mandate is closer to 60, it will be a disappointment. It could prompt the leadership to rethink its policies, to rethink its leaders, and perhaps even rethink the timing of this leadership transition. Now, bear in mind that the opposition isn't looking to topple the ruling party. What it wants to do is to ensure more checks and balances. It wants to ensure that the ruling party does not have two-thirds majority, allowing for various voices in Parliament, a greater debate, a healthy debate on policies that affect the people in Singapore. Now, what's worth noting is that the ruling party has never garnered anything less than 93% of all the seats in Parliament, and this time round, the opposition is hoping that that will change.
Exactly. I mean, you said it. They've been ruling for half a century. They've always getting the majority. So how viable is really the opposition?
Well, you have to see the opposition within the context of a dominant party, a party that pretty much controls the state machinery. We've heard from the opposition lamenting that, they have no access to the media. If you recall, we've had a few cases where opposition parties were fined. They were sent to jail for failing to pay those fines following defamation suits. So there is a sense of trepidation, perhaps even fear, that what they say, the criticisms that they hurl towards the ruling party may send them behind bars. There is a heavy price to pay. Now, this time round, we're looking at about 10 opposition parties. They're small. In fact, the oldest opposition party is fielding only 21 candidates for 93 seats in Parliament. That shows how difficult it is in terms of resources for the opposition party. What's interesting to note as well, PM Lee's brother, Hsien, has joined the opposition party. When asked why, he said that the current party does not reflect the wishes and the dreams of the people now. The party has to evolve, and it has failed to do that. It is no longer the party that was founded by his father, Lee Kuan Yew, who is the founding father of modern Singapore. So you can see the sense of division currently in the country.
Right. What's the mood been on the ground there, in terms of the 9 days of campaigning? What have we learnt?
It's interesting. You say 9 days of campaigning. That's possibly among the shortest campaign period in the world. It's difficult to get a real sense on the ground because there are no opinion polls. That's not allowed during the election period. It's also difficult to say because everything's gone online. All campaigning has been virtual, and some say that works towards the ruling party. Others say that it levels the playing field because now the opposition has greater access to the people across the country. But, elections in Singapore has always been about bread and butter. It's about survival. It's about work. It's about the economy, cost of living. And this time is no different, though the pandemic has thrown a different picture in the Lion City. It's undergoing possibly the deepest contraction since independence, that since 1965. Unemployment is the highest it's seen in its history. So there are lots of challenges ahead. That'll be key. And I think that the sense is that the people want more transparency, want more say. And that is something that the next government will have to address.